My name is Josefsson. I'm the Vice President for Europe, Middle East and Africa at Nozomi Networks. Typically, we come from the OT side of the things, so all those networks which were not built with cybersecurity in mind. So in IT, there's lots of protections, something that customers have been building for tens of years, everything from firewall to web filters, etc., etc., etc. The type of OT networks that we are protecting don't have that type of protection mechanisms, detection mechanisms. So we're typically one of the first things that go in. We look at the network data in those kind of networks to detect cybersecurity threats, known as well as unknown, use behavior-based anomaly detection, artificial intelligence, as well as traditional detection measures. So what's changed in the last 5, 6, 7 years? When I started with what I do now, there's very little IoT and OT, right? And these type of devices were few and far between. That has changed at a dramatic pace. We see cloud coming into OT, we see IoT coming in OT at speed. The problem with IoT devices is typically they're a bit niche. It's difficult to kind of install endpoint protections on them. Therefore, looking at them from a network perspective makes a lot of sense, right? And now also recently we launched an agent, so where we can put an agent in, gives you additional visibility, but otherwise the best way to detect and protect and get visibility on all these myriads of different types of IoT devices, it is the network. And we're uniquely positioned not only to monitor the IoT device in these networks, but also the difficult ones, the OT devices that's out there, allowing our customers to have blanket coverage independent if it's an IT device in this environment, if it's an IoT device, or the more traditional OT devices that we've known and loved for the last 20, 30 years. So what's been happening is customers started monitoring these environments just looking at passive network monitoring. That's safe, it's zero risk, and then they came to us and said, you know what, we want to see more. And then we started to do active things on the network, surgically, but they said, okay, what's going on with these endpoints? What's the vulnerabilities? What's the installed software patches, etc., these kind of information. So then we went out and did active queries. And that's been an evolution. So the next point is like, you know what, we want to know even more of what goes on. We want you to analyze the logs. We want you to get constant updates. We want to use these endpoints as a sensor themselves. So anything that communicates with the endpoint, we want visibility of that. And that will decrease complexity with deployment, etc. So for us, it's been a natural evolution. It's driven, as always, with us by customer challenges. How can we help solving them in a different way? And it's a game changer. It allows us to do things from an architecture point of view that we were not able to do before, even more flexibility. And having an endpoint agent, that's again, 5, 6 years ago, never, right? That was not even something that could be discussed, just like cloud. And now customers are proactively coming to us and say, we want your agent. This is the uptake we're seeing already, with the launch window being so short behind us, just a couple of weeks. We see so many customers, both here locally as well as globally and in region, who are saying, you know what, this is going to help us solve so many problems.